Hmm. Well, that was short-lived. Diddly dee diddly doo. Hello again. I was little glitch there, little glitch in the matrix. Just maybe I probably jinxed it by saying how it was nice to have a lovely computer and everything working. Oh God. Well, it's working better than it normally does, so that's good at least. Yeah, no, my computer just went off. That was weird. After all that chatting about stuff, I am a cursed man. I'm a cursed man. Ah, yeah. I wonder why that happened. I'm going to have to look into that. Well, again, hey, this is what these tests are for. This is exactly why we do this. And we figure out what the problems are, and then we try and fix them, if we can. Ugh. Silliness, that absolute silliness. For some reason, I can't get the... What's this? Just get rid of that. That's... Let's see the... Yeah. Right. Oh, God, where's the chat gone? Dee-dee-dee-dee-doo. I wonder. Ah, there it is. There it is. I wonder if there we go. Sorry, I lost my little chat box here, which because the one on the actual thing is not as up to date as it should be. Yeah, nice. Okay, cool. Okay, right, we're back. Let's do this again. Let's try this again. No audio? Oh, no. Can everybody hear me? Okay, good. Alright, good. Well, that's good. Anyway. Yes. Good to see you again, Weekend Religion. It's been a while. Well, that's all my tea gone. Yes. Thank you for the rinsing, Lewis. Or Louis. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing your name, but I say both ways. No, yes, Danny. Sorry, I saw your earlier message. I knew that wasn't aimed at you. That was just checking, just generally checking. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh, I was saying about the channel and how so I'm going down this route of nostalgia and the horror thing fits into that. I'd like to get to the point where I'm watching other fun nostalgic things as well, but and still playing games. I still want to incorporate gaming into that as well. Yeah, because it's just that's a fun topic for me. The idea nostalgia and the memories and things. How memories, you remember things a certain way, and I don't know, all that kind of stuff. It's just really interesting to to me, anyway. Your downstairs neighbour is a Reese, but with the E-E-C-E, I see. You're going to ask your neighbour out? Do it. If you fancy him, if you like him, do it. Why not? Danny, you're going to have to get good at lip reading. Just, you know. If I over, you know, enunciate everything, you can lip read what I am saying. Yeah, it does feel cozy. This is nice. It's a good feeling. It's a nice feeling. You guys like my t-shirt? It's got Looney Tunes on it. And it's from Texas. And I've never been to Texas. What's it like? Dee 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 dee. But yeah, anyway, successful test, I think, so far. Yeah, I mean, what else is there to say, really? Not much. Not much. I've gotten really into D&D. If that's a thing people like. I remember that some of you guys are really into it, and I remember being like, no, I know nothing about it. Like, I've always kind of been intrigued by it, but I've never known anything about it. I know quite a lot about it now. Gotten really into it. It's really fun. Really enjoy it. I just reminded me because I got a load of dice delivered to me yesterday. I ordered some dice off of Etsy, just like a random dice collection. There's some really fun ones in here. Look, some really good shit. Oh, you can't see because of the chat. There you go. Look at all these little good guys. Well, good. My treasures, my little treasures. That's become a weird new addiction of mine. Actually, is hoarding dice. Much to the chagrin of my wife. She literally said to me earlier when I opened this package, she was like, You've already got dice. Why do you need more? And I actually couldn't answer that question, which is the sad thing. Yeah. So, but hey, I like them. They're nice. They're my little treasures. Yeah, I actually have never watched Dimension 20. I've seen like clips of it. I've sort of followed them on Instagram and I've watched clips of it. I got into it more through Critical Role, actually, from watching that. Yeah. A friend of mine who I was on tour with, well, basically, we both found out we both were into Warhammer. Is how I initially started, because I started collecting Warhammer again in like lockdown. I used to play and collect it when I was a kid, and then when lockdown happened and we didn't know what was going on, and also had like a bit of disposable income, I was like, yeah, fuck, I'm just gonna start collecting Warhammer again, because I used to enjoy that, and I like painting and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, me and my friend on tour, one of my actor friends who was in the show with us, we sort of got chatting about all that, and then he was like, "You ever played D&D?" And I was like, "No, I don't know enough about it, and it seems really complicated, and I don't really get it. Like, I don't understand how you play it." And he was like, "Well, it's just really simple. Just like, here's some basic things." And he was like, "I tell you what, best way to learn is actually just watch Critical Role." And I was like, "Oh, what's that?" And he was like, "Oh, it's a YouTube series, and they play D&D, and it's really fun. And the story's really good." And then I started watching Campaign 2 is what I started with, because by his recommendation, The Mighty Nine, and man, it is that really. I was like, "What is this?" this is great. It's just storytelling. It's just you're just telling stories with friends and oh man, yeah. Anyway, I just got really into it. I was like, God, and then I was like, I have to play this game. I have to figure out how to play it. But it's really hard to find people to play with. I've found is the thing. And I was like, God, how am I going to play it? So then I met a couple of friends, and I was with my wife as well. And I sort of said to them, I was like, guys, you ever fancied playing D&D? And one of them was like, well, I did used to play a long time ago. And I was like, interesting. And I was like, well, I really want to play. And have you guys ever thought about it? And they were like, yeah, actually, yeah, I'd love to. And Michaela had watched a few episodes. My wife, Michaela, had watched a few episodes of Critical Role. And she was like, yeah, it looks really fun. Looks fun. So I was like, all right, if I learn how to be a DM, should we just play? And it just be kind of low stakes and just be fun and just, have a laugh. And yeah, and then basically I got I think for Christmas this last year I got one of the starter kits, and then I bought the player's handbook and stuff, and I sort of learned a little bit more, and I've now started a campaign. Yeah, and it's really fun. And actually I've realised I've not played as a player yet. My first time into it is as a DM. I really love DMing. It's probably one of my favourite things. It's so fun. And I get to play all the different characters and all the NPCs, and I just have a right laugh. And yeah, and it's nice to have a silly group to play with. Play with two of my closest friends and my wife, and we're all very silly when we play. And it's it's just really good. I just got really into it, and now I'm obsessed with gathering and hoarding dice. Apparently, is the way it's going. So, but yeah. I used to collect Lord of the Rings Warhammer, Nina. That's what I started with, was the Lord of the Rings ones, and then I moved on to fantasy, and then I moved on to 40k, the sci-fi one. Now I do Age of Sigmar and 40k. They're the only ones I do. I have a this is such a geeky conversation now. Brilliant. Got a Soulblight Gravelords army, which are just, vampires and shit. All vampires and horrible zombies and scary things, And then, then I got some Space Marines for 40k for the futuristic stuff. They're just the big chunky guys. They're fun, All good. But, oh yeah, nice. I would love it. I'd love some orcs. A D&D streamer. Yeah. That's the thing. I'm still very new to it, and I don't even know how you become a D&D streamer. I'd love to join a D&D stream though. If I ever had the opportunity to join someone else's stream as a player, I'd really enjoy that. Need to make the right connections. Yeah, Warhammer is very expensive. That's the reason why I did it in lockdown, because I had, like I said at the time, I had some disposable income. So I was like, well, this is going towards nothing else, so I'm just going to enjoy it. Do regret that now sometimes. I could have definitely invested that better, but screw it. It's fun, isn't it? Yeah, sorry, I'm just going back through the chat. I've missed out on a lot of stuff. Wow, being a DM is really fun. I have really enjoyed it, and I feel like now I probably will always want to DM more than be a player. I do want to be a player as well at some point, just because it'd be really nice to stick with one character and be consistent with that character and develop their story and all that kind of stuff. But I do really enjoy the sort of creativity I get to do, and the on the spot thinking I find really fun. I thought it'd stress me out, but then I guess actually, as an actor, and an actor with some pretty decent improv skills, I like to think, it was actually a lot less scary than I thought it would be. And I get to do all the silly voices I want to do. And it's great. It's great. came up with a really accidentally came up with a really fun character the other day when we were playing. We had a little session, and the players were pitted against 3 orcs who came at them and ambushed them. And I had the little. I used my warhammer as obviously the they have their characters, and I use some of my warhammer that I've collected as like monsters and stuff. I had these 3 orcs. They came in, they ambushed. It was really fun, and then Michaela, her character, decided that she was going to charge over. She did like a backflip over a pillar that was on the floor, and then she came down and like double axed one of the orcs like that, like nearly killed him. And he was like, oh, he was in pain. And then in retaliation, one of my little orcs was like, I'm going to do what she did, and then he ran over to a different pillar, went to go do a backflip. Natural 1 on the flip. So he stacked it, fell over, landed on his back. He was out for pretty much the rest of the game, just there laying on his back like a little beetle. And then they killed the other 2 orcs, and then they went over to this lone orc who was like not very good at anything. All of his rolls were terrible. So that obviously just became his character, that he was just really bad at fighting. And they spared his life. They were like, we don't want to kill you because you're kind of pathetic. So then this whole backstory became that he didn't want to fight. He wanted to be a chef, and his name was Seb, and it created this really pathetic orc character that they all fell in love with, and they wanted to adopt and take on the journey with him. But I was like, we can't just have an orc running around with them the whole time. But I will definitely bring that character back in future for them, because I think that'll be really lovely and fun. But yeah, I just really love this idea of like, even I don't know what's going to happen until it happens, and then like that sort of becomes canon to the story. And yeah, I don't know, it's just really fun and lovely. Hello, David. Good to see you. Yeah, nice. God, man, y'all are here. This is great. I always have that fear every time I've done this, where I've returned. I always come back. I'm like, no one's gonna be there. There's no one gonna be there anymore. Everyone's forgotten about me. So it's very nice that you're all here, because yeah, that is lovely, and it's good to see you all. But that's the that's the D&D thing. That's something I thought I'd talk about as a catch-uppy thing. You know, it feels like this lighting's a bit bad. I'm gonna try and that's a bit better. That is one thing that I need to invest in, is better lighting, because it's kind of okay. Just got this little fucking lamp thing here. I've got a lamp above my head and I've got one there, but they're not the best. I need to get I'd love some key lights, but they're well expensive. I will get them at some point, but just right now, don't want to invest on that right yet. Not until what you cooking, David? Anything nice? Anything delicious? Delicioso? But yeah. Actually, I'll tell you what. I'll show you some. I've got some Warhammer here, some geeky Warhammer that I can show you, so you can see the kind of horrible things that I. Look at this guy. He's pretty good. Oh, let me do the hand thing. Does that work? There he is. Look at this guy. I've not based him, but there he is. He's a little horrible vampire batty kind of guy. He's pretty fun. I haven't painted them all, actually. I've got loads that I need to finish. I've got so many. I've got a massive pile of shame. That's what they call it in the biz. Just all loads of unfinished models and unpainted ones. But I've got some really cool shit, actually. Chorizo and potato hash. That does sound banging, to be fair. That does sound very good. I did remember the hand thing. Yeah. That just came to me then. I was like, oh god, yeah, there's a trick. I remember the trick. Oh dear. Yeah, but But yeah. God, I cannot keep saying it, but this is really nice. Yeah, I'm gonna. Yeah, so this is, like I said, this is kind of like a testy McTest kind of thing for the stream, because I mean I'm using OBS now, and I'm still trying to get the grips with it. I don't know if I like it more or less actually at the moment. I'm undecided on if I like it or not. It's a little bit more not difficult, but it's just a little bit more fiddly. Where I remember before when I was using Streamlabs, it was so easy. But people say that this one's better. But yeah, I don't know. Gonna give it gonna test it for a bit longer and see. But I think I'm probably going to try and do a stream every Monday if I can, because Monday is my best day, because Monday, yes, Thursday, Wednesday, sometimes Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, I'm away. I'm off on the road doing the show. But then I'm always back. I'm usually always back on Sunday, and then Monday's like right in the middle, so it's the best time for me to kind of actually do anything. So yeah, I think Monday's going to be the new streaming day. I don't know whether I'll do it this early or whether I'll do it later. I just sort of did it this early today because I knew I was going to have I knew there wasn't going to be anyone home at this point. So I just like, well, I'll do it at this time because everyone's sort of out. That sort of, but I can figure out when the best time is. And yeah, probably we'll do some gaming and like watching things. I thought it'd be nice just to kind of like watch things as well, watch bits and bobs, sort of thing. Yeah, like watch some scary videos, or like watch some, I don't know. And obviously, always happy to take recommendations for things. Some people have sent me some recommendations already in the comments of my last video of things to check out. So yeah, some of those things I will. Some of them are saved for videos, obviously, but like there's some things that I might be like, yeah, we can watch this, or we can kind of check this thing out, or but yeah. And I'm trying to think of like what games I can play. There's lots of fun things. I'll tell you one thing that's really nice is, obviously y'all know how much I love the PlayStation 1 and like kind of older kind of stuff, right? There's a bit of a boom, or there has been a bit of a boom. I've probably missed the trend on it. It was probably a trend from a few years ago. But anyway, I discovered it recently. There's been a bit of a boom on like PlayStation 1 style games, especially in the horror genre. There's like on itch.io, there's loads of games that are all been made to look like they were PlayStation games. There's actually also a thing as demakes, which is a thing that I've known about it for about like last year. I learned about it. Demakes essentially people making old versions of new games. So for example, there's a Bloodborne demake, which is like it's Bloodborne but with PlayStation 1 graphics, and it looks incredible. It looks like the old Nightmare Creatures game, which I used to love. One of my favorite games when I was a kid. It just looks really cool. And yeah, so probably just play silly things like that, I guess, and maybe play a bit of Stardew Valley and things like that. Nice, chilled, lovely games like that as well. Some wholesome stuff. But yeah, sticking with that sort of nostalgia theme, probably going to be playing older things. Because let's face it, I'm never going to play Fortnite or any of that shit, am I? Rubbish. My nephews are really into that. And every time I go to see them, they're just playing it. And they're like, what? They don't even say play it with me. They're like, watch me play. And I'm like, I don't. Yeah, great. Do your little dance moves and stuff. But hey, you can hear me now. Nice. That was to Danny. Sorry. What? Yeah. Now you can hear. Nice. Turn off the comments if you do Stardew. Why? What do you mean? What happens? What happens if... What? David, sorry, I'm just going through the chat. I've missed a lot of chat. In answer to your question, David, the theatre scene has been going great. It's been really good. Really good. I was saying to the guys earlier that, tour's going really well. We've been selling pretty decent. It's getting really good. We're going to Edinburgh again this year, and it's looking like it's going to be a big one for us. So we're really excited about that. We've also got potential other things in the pipeline that are very exciting, which I won't say anything about because I don't want to jinx anything. But it's big things are coming for us. So yeah. It's going to be good. It's going to be good. I think next year is going to be a very exciting year for us. So, yeah. Nice. But it's been busy and we've been working really hard. Also, I forgot to mention that when we're on the road, actually, so not only, as I said earlier, not only, obviously, we're performing in the show and we've all had to learn these other skills. Like, I'm sort of learning a bit of producer work, and then, one of us is the designer who designs everything, the costumes, the set, and like then tries to get someone to build it all for us, and we've all got these different other skills that we've had to learn for this, but also, as well as all that, we are the only people working on this show, really. So when we get to a venue, I don't know how much people know about sort of the logistics of theatre and touring and going to put a show on. When you go to a venue, you do they call it the get-in, which is where you're getting into the theatre, right? Go figure. And it's unloading everything, it's building the set, it's rigging all the lights, it's and then you do the tech, which is where obviously you focus all the lights, make sure they're pointing in the right place, programming all the lighting cues, programming the sound, making sure the mics are all set up and everything like that. Basically, we do all of that stuff. Usually when you go on tour or when you do a show, you have a technical team who do all of that stuff. But with us, it's just us. And obviously, when we get to venues, they have their own in-house tech staff, which help us out, and they show us where things are. But generally, it's just us working on it. And so when we go to a theatre on a Thursday morning, it's a really long day because we get there, unload everything out the van. Obviously, we've driven the van and driven everything there ourselves as well. So we load everything out into the van. We got to build all the set, drill all the things together, set all the props, like everything. And that's a whole thing from like 10 till about 1 o'clock doing that. Then we have our lunch, and then we go away for a bit, and then we come back, and then we've got to do all the lighting, we've got to do the tech, we've got to fix everything, we've got to make sure things are pointing in the right direction, all that sort of stuff. And then that finishes around, we usually have a dinner break around 5. We finish that, we go away for dinner, we come back, and then we get ready to do the show. So Thursdays are like a mad full-on day for us. And then some days we'll do, and then obviously once we've done our weekend of shows, we then have to do the get out, which is the opposite of the get in, where you get everything out of the theatre and you tear it all down, you load it into the van, and then we drive back to London usually, and then we have a few days at home with our families and stuff, and then we go off again to the next place. But some days you'll do for example, we had a one-nighter in Camberley, not this weekend, the weekend before, and we arrived on the Saturday at 10 at the theatre, the theatre wasn't too far from London, so it was about an hour away from London, so it wasn't that far, which was nice. But we got there at 10, did the get in, did all that stuff. Then we did the show, and then we did the get out immediately after. So it was all in one day, and then we're back in the van, back to London that evening. So it's crazy. It's a crazy time. This next week we've actually got really mad one. This is probably our maddest week of the tour. We're doing 4 venues in the space of like 5 or 6 days. So we're going to where are we going? We're going to Redditch. We're doing 2 shows in Redditch. Then we're driving to. Then we got so get in. 2 shows in Redditch. Get out. Drive to St Helens. Get in. 1 show there. Get out. So that's one of those get there, show, get out days. Then we've got a day off the next day, but it's like we drive to Derby and then we've got a day off. And then we do get in Derby, 2 shows Derby, get out of Derby, stay overnight, and then in the morning of the Thursday we drive to Mansfield, get in, do the show, get out, back to London. So it's pretty mad, it's pretty crazy, and I'm not gonna lie, this week this is one of the weeks that we've all been kind of dreading, in the sense of we just know we're gonna be so tired. It's gonna be mad. But you know, this whole year of doing this has been like living the dream. It's been so good. Yeah, it's gonna be really nice. We will be tired for sure, but we love the show and we love what we're doing with it, and so it's not really like work, and we're all such good friends as well, so that's really nice. You know, it's literally working. It's like best friends all working together and putting on this show, and it's really fun. Yes, we will have a bit of time off before Edinburgh. We're actually between our last 2 venues, because our last 2 venues are up in Scotland. We're doing Aberdeen, and then we're doing Eden Court, which is in Inverness. So we're in Aberdeen and Inverness. And there's a week apart between those shows, or more like 5 days between those shows. So we're doing a little Scotland getaway, which would be really nice between those last two venues. And then we've actually got a week off back home as well. And then we're only doing 3 days of rehearsal for Edinburgh, because it's the same show, and actually we're condensing it for Edinburgh. We're making it shorter, so it's more cutting things out than learning new things, which is fine. So we're doing 3 days of rehearsal, and then we got a couple more days off, and then we're going then we're going to Edinburgh for the whole month, and that is going to be really fun. Edinburgh is like our holiday, because it is work, and there's still a lot of stuff that we have to do, and but it is super fun, and it's just a party the whole time, and it's great. If anyone, if you've never been to Edinburgh Fringe, I'd urge you to go if you can at some point. It is so fun, and there's so much weird, crazy stuff going on. So many mad shows, and so many there's a lot of not so good stuff as well. But there's so much amazing work that you can find there. So I definitely recommend it. And it's just a party, man. There's bars everywhere. There's restaurants and stuff, and there's people everywhere all wandering around, and there's street performers doing stuff, and it's very nice. Deputy. Sorry, I'm just going back through the chat again. I've just been chatting and not reading. Sorry. Oh god, I forgot about the Fish Puns channel. Yeah, what was that? What was that about? Oh god, it's so mad. I feel like I need a refresh on the lore, because I don't remember a lot of it. I remember all the things, but I don't remember where they came from. I'm not one for going back and watching the old streams, because I don't know. I find something weird about going back watching my own old streams. It's, don't know. It just feels a little bit weird. But yeah. Jed, have you been to Edinburgh? Have you performed there? Because obviously, yeah. God, it's so fun. I can't wait for it, man. It's gonna be really, really nice. And we're selling really well, which is good. That's always a bonus. I really hope we don't have to flyer this year. Then that's the dream. That's the actual dream. No flyering. Oh, I do think I remember them coming from a Stardew Valley thing. Yeah. Didn't I try to make a fish? I think I tried to make a fish farm, didn't I? Isn't that what I did? Actually, I logged into... I hadn't... Because I usually play Stardew Valley on the old PlayStation. But I did log on to my computer version, and I saw that... What was his name? I think... Didn't I make Ronald Plump? Wasn't that a character I made? And I made I tried to make a horrible billionaire man. Maybe I just did that in my own spare time. I just saw that and I was like, did I do that on stream? That sounds like I would have done on the stream. It doesn't sound like I would do. You're going this year. You're going to the Fringe this year. Nice, very cool. Well, hopefully see you there. See you around. The show is... yeah, I guess I haven't really spoken much about the show. I've just sort of been telling about the actual experience of being on tour. The show is right. It's I'm trying to think of the best way to explain it. So it is it's the importance of being earnest. I said importance really weird there. It's the importance of being earnest. The classic Oscar Wilde play. In fact, I'll just give you the spiel. It starts off as the classic play by Oscar Wilde, The Importance of Being Earnest, until the actor who's meant to be playing Ernest doesn't show up for his cue. That's when the director comes up onto the stage, and instead of cancelling the show like any sane human would, he decides to cast a member of the audience in the lead role of Ernest. And as the show goes on, the dominoes sort of fall because of there being an audience member on stage. And yeah, as the show goes on, more of the actual actors drop out of the show for various reasons, and they are all slowly replaced by real members from the audience, so that by the end of the show it's mainly audience members on stage. And my character is the only one that survives. Well, my actor character is the only one that survives. Yeah, and that's kind of it, really. It's very, very, very fun, very silly. It's all with real audience members, so we pull everyone up. They didn't know they were going to be in the show. We didn't know they were going to be in the show, and then we do the show with them. And it is as chaotic and mad as it sounds. Very on brand for me, actually, as an agent of chaos. It is, yeah, and it's so fun. And actually, it is, for some people, it can be actually quite life-changing, I think, because we get these people up, and the whole point of the show is not to like, make them look stupid or to, humiliate them or anything like that. It is, we bring them up on stage and we turn them into the hero of the show. And man, I remember it was about a month ago. I think we were in Stafford. I can't remember where we were. I think we were in Stafford. We had a man on stage who was a little bit more timid. And but he was up for it. He, you know, because we always make sure we don't want anyone to feel uncomfortable. And the first person who gets picked at the beginning, it's all about trying to find someone who's comfortable. Yeah, and we had this one guy who was he was a little bit more timid, and you know, but he was up for it. And he was really funny. Like, he had really good comic timing, just naturally. He didn't realize it himself, but he was so funny, and the audience loved him. They loved everything he did. Anyway, we did the whole show. We got to the end, and there's a moment. Spoiler alert! For anyone who does want to see the show, it's not towards the end, there's a moment where we open the door at the back, and he comes down, and he always, he always comes down. The person who's cast as Ernest at that moment, there's always a huge applause for them from the audience, and like cheering and whooping. And this guy came out, heard that, and he you could see in his eyes, he started welling up, and you could see he was so affected by it, and he was then he was the hero of the show, and everyone was cheering for him and stuff. And anyway, we spoke to him afterwards, and he was like, "That I've never done anything like that in my life," and that he was fighting back tears, telling us, he was like, "I'm so happy that I did this, and I really needed this. This has been amazing, thank you." And yeah, it's just bloody lovely. It's really lovely. Yeah, so we think it's quite an important show as well. As much as it is like kind of, to a point, mindless entertainment, because it's very silly, and it's but there is so much more to it, because we're turning people into, or at least maybe not turning people into, but we're drawing out creativity from people. And some people are naturally creative, or some people, we do get people who are actors already, who have had a performance history or something, and that's fine. But the really